Prattville, Alabama. I lived here all my life. 37 years of my life. It took me 35 years of age to find Jesus. Why did it take me so long? Let me start off my story by telling you like this. When I was a baby, I had a great aunt or some kind of kinfolk pray over me that I would do something in ministry or preach or be in the church or something. She seen the vision. Didn't find that out till about 2 years ago. Well, I lived in Prattville, Alabama all my life. A very depressed kid on ADD, just lost. My dad was Bob Harmon. He was a famous race promoter, known from the East Coast to West Coast. Everybody called him Uncle Bob Harmon. But when I was a kid growing up, he was never around. He was always on the road making a living. Go to basketball games, he wouldn't show up, football games, or whatever. And it would just bring me down to a deeper level of depression. I didn't know Jesus. I seen books of it when I go to the dentist or something, or I go with my cousin to church with him. I really didn't have a connection or didn't know him. I felt like I didn't need him. Well, I hung around the wrong crowd, done some things I shouldn't have done. I was the kid your parents always warned you about. I promise you that. I was right there in the midst of it with the best. But probably when I was 21 or 22 years old, I slept into a bigger depression. And that's when my mama passed away, and I sat there and watched her die right there in front of me. And that's the first time I've ever witnessed death, like a terrific death. I mean, the room got so cold, it just felt like ice was coming down the walls, and you could just sit here and breathe and go, whew, and ice would go like that. It just felt like the devil all over it. And I didn't know the devil or Jesus at the time. Well, in 2002, I lost my dad to lung cancer. Went downhill a little bit more. Well, I lost my wife about 2 or 3 years later. I lost $1 million in cash. $1 million. But it wasn't from drugs or alcohol. It was just bad business decisions. Doing stupid stuff. But I was a very depressed person on the inside. My inner man wasn't right, so my outer man wasn't right. And I was just searching for something. Searching. I never knew the love of Jesus. I never knew it could be so great. What greater man to lay down his life for his friends is Jesus. And I didn't know the man. He took the worst beating in history. I didn't even know nothing about him. Nothing. Nothing. And it's sad. It took me 35 years of my life to find him. But when I did, I found him at the weird and most strangest place. And that was at death's doorstep. That was at a funeral home. I said that right, a funeral home. A funeral home. Brother Mike Mitchell, he was preaching, and he said they were singing and preaching, and I just felt the presence of God. And he said, if anybody out here that don't know Jesus, they need to find him. I said, me and a friend of mine, I said, we're going to go to that church right there. That preacher moved me. We started going, and I got so hungry. I got fed. Then I finally got full of the Holy Ghost. And oh my God, I didn't know how much the love of Jesus was so free. I just felt the peace come over my body. And it's just like the inner man got straight and the outer man come out and said, you're perfect. And I said, no, I'm not perfect. I'm just forgiven. Well, I started staying in church, getting involved. Got my own ministry called The Garage. Started doing outreach stuff. And I'm so on fire for Jesus. I am sold out. It took me 37 of my years of life to find Jesus. But when I found him, I grasped a hold of him and I ain't let him go. And I'm radical. I'm tired of people sitting in church want to do, and they don't do nothing. I'm the type of person that's crazy, all the way or nothing. That's me. ADD kicking in. I'm tired of sitting on the back pew. I went to the front pew, and I want to make a difference. And I want to show the people love of Jesus. And I want to show the freedom. And I want to show it all to them because I know what He set me free. It's simple. We're not perfect. We're just forgiven. That's what it says in the Bible. And I know Jesus took the worst beating He ever took, and He died for me to forgive me of all my sins. I can walk this earth every day and mess up, and Jesus can take His hand and say, son, here you go. I'm right here. Let's go. How awesome is that? That's better than any drug, any cocaine, any alcohol, anything. But let me tell you what. I am Robert Harmon, and I am royalty.